Hey guys, welcome to episode 2, Pipe Dummies, in the motherfucking house,
You cussed.
because we can do that. You should hear me when I'm not on the show. I mean, it's hard for me to get through a sentence without saying fuck, to be
This is
honest.
true. You do cuss a lot.
I do, and sometimes I try to not like neighbors, kids, and everything. I try to be respectful of that. You know, they're out in the yard or whatever, and I don't want
You're a
to say it.
respectful individual.
Sometimes I think I'm considerate to a fault.
I would honestly kind of agree with that. Like,
We,
you are
we
definitely a people pleaser. No
We can
offense.
call this this will be the leather couch episode where Rob
So, Rob, tell me about your feelings. You
airs all of his
pussy.
inner demons. Robbie Raz here with you from Cigar Federation as always. Logan chiming in as well
Hello, Rob.
from the man cave. You've got some. This is a new angle.
Dude, I know, man. Like, let me just show you something. I'm gonna turn the camera really quick.
I'm gonna pack my bowl here while you do that.
You pack your bowl. Man, I suck at my pipe so much I get the gurgles. That's what I said right before we went on the air, and I'm
Yeah,
really glad we didn't. But
it would have been a perfect intro.
just
Then
take a look at that. That's what I did this afternoon.
what?
You see all that?
Oh, I was looking at a wall, and you labeled it and everything, huh?
Fucking A, I did. And then that's going to be our science experiment for like maybe 5 or 6 episodes down the road that I got all nerdy about, and you were like, well, I don't really give a shit, Logan.
Oh, were you gonna
But I will say,
cook it or whatever?
well, we're going to cook it, but then we're also going to, we're going to age it.
Age it.
Did I freeze up?
When you're moving
Did I
around,
freeze
yeah,
up?
you slowed down a little bit while you were moving. That's for sure.
I know, it's because I'm such a big target.
So you went kind of nuts and bought like every freaking pipe tobacco known to man recently.
Pretty much. I went out, and the fucking thing that was so funny about it is like, if I bought that many, I literally got 42 baggies in the mail. Well, no, not 42. I got 30 baggies in the mail because some of the stuff I got 2 ounces, and one of them I got 8. But 42 ounces, I believe, of pipe tobacco I received. And let me just tell you, 1 ounce of pipe tobacco is a fucking shit ton. Like, let me just give you an idea here. One of these days, we're going to get around to smoking Captain Black, and we've got it. But that's 1 ounce. I mean, we're talking...
I'd be curious to see how many bowls you get.
How many bowls does it take you to work through an ounce of bulk pipe tobacco?
It's like the old Tootsie Pop commercial. How many licks does it take?
I don't know, man. At least I would say at least 10, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably like 20 in there.
Maybe. I mean, if you're packing bitch bowls, like you. But no, I mean, okay, 10
Awesome.
to 20. Let's just pretend we equate that to a cigar, obviously. Like, and I only spent $150, right? So I mean, basically, call it less than $4 an ounce, or close to it. I mean, with tax and everything, right? Dude, if you got that much equivalent in cigars, I'd have spent $1,000.
Easy.
Easy.
Because I mean, when we'll get more into bulk tobacco purchases, a little bit later in the show. But I mean, when you're talking about bulk tobacco, which a lot of the stuff that you bought is bulk. I mean, you didn't get a lot of tins. They're about $4 or $5 tops. And then when you get into the real high end stuff, like what are some of the better ones, like the higher review?
Higher end bulks?
Well, the higher
Higher priced.
the higher rated stuff, like the Mississippi River, whatever the
That was still only like $5 an ounce.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like you're getting like, let's equate that to like a nice Tatuaje or something. You're paying about the same price as you would for Lane 1Q, which is what we're going to be smoking today.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. The only thing that kind of sucks about, I mean, that it's true. I mean, pipe tobacco does go a lot longer, or you get a lot more mileage out of it. And I will say, let me see if I can let me show you something here, if I can get my hands on it. So I'll show you this really quick. I know we're not talking about the Lane 1Q, but honestly, the Lane 1Q is probably something Rob will like, and I kind of hate it. So we don't have to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. We will. But the thing about pipe tobacco, though, you get one humidor, and you're kind of set. Like, I literally bought fucking like 48 mason jars or some shit. Like, I bought a ton. And, like, labeling it and storing it is such a pain in the ass. in comparison to cigars, you just throw the box in your fucking humidor and you're done. And you've got like Zycar does all that stuff. But one thing I love about fucking pipe tobacco, I want to show you, and I just noticed this today, and I texted Catfish, and that asshole hasn't gotten back to me yet. But I bought some of this. It's like Orlick Golden Sliced, which apparently is a pure Virginian just flake tobacco. And I want you to look at this. I don't know if you can even tell. Do one of those look darker than the other?
The one on the right side of the screen, which is so it's probably your left. No, the other one. The other one. That one looks lighter and kind of greenish, but I think
this one looks lighter.
Yeah.
This one's lighter, the one I'm shaking.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. So I had some of this that Catfish had sent me. I don't know how long he had it, but when I opened up this tin, I looked at it, and I'm like, dude, I can physically see, like, some crusties on this. I'm starting to see, like, this is, like, really, like, wet. It doesn't have nearly as the smell. This one just smells like fucking raisins. I think it smells so much better. But you can start to tell, and that's what I think I'm going to love about pipe tobacco is because if you have a fucking Norteño, and I've had it for a year, and let's just assume he's had this for a year, you physically can't tell the difference. You have no idea how long you've had it. But here, I could open it up, and I could just easily see the difference. I thought that was pretty cool.
Smells like raisins, huh?
I think it does. I mean,
it sounds like one I might need to try.
I know. Well, you're probably going to get some because I sent you a bunch of shit.
I do like raisins. Yeah, he did, and I appreciate that. Logan he's a good sugar daddy. He treats me really well.
Yeah, you call me Big Papa.
No.
But anyways,
absolutely not.
Hey man, that's gonna be the thing. Is like you gotta call me fucking sugar tits or something. As you can see my tits right now. All right, well, let's talk about the Lane 1Q. So the Lane 1Q, for those that don't know, and you probably nobody knows because guess what? We're all fucking pipe dummies around here. Just opened the tin to put the flake in the jar. Yes, I did. Nothing. Definitely a noob. Go fuck yourself. Listen, the Pipe Man's and I'm going to start, first of all, the Pipe Man's Handbook. If you've never read the Pipe Man's Handbook, it's kind of like the Bible is to Christians. And it's kind of like the Quran is, right, to Muslims. And I don't know what the Jewish book is. I don't really know. But that's not supposed to be kind of that's not a bad thing. I just don't know. But listen, you don't leave it in the tin. Here's why. Is that it's all vacuum sealed. When you open a tin, you're right, nothing. The tins are sealed. But the whole thing, according to the Pipe Man's Handbook, is to get the aging process going, it requires air. It requires oxygen, at least a little bit. Well, when something's vacuum sealed, what does that mean? It means there's no oxygen in there. So you're really stunting the aging process. We'll get more into this, but literally nothing. You don't know nothing. So get out of here.
So,
anyways.
On that note, if you haven't read the Pipe Man's Handbook and you're watching it on Cigar Federation, there's on the Pipe Dummies page, there's a link there, and it'll take you to it. It's we'll get more into it a little bit later. It's a kind of somebody compiled. God, this was what, like 5 or 6 years ago. This was done.
Maybe longer. I don't know.
Went back and compiled a ton of information there. It says all kinds of different things. So you can check that out. Well, today we're smoking Lane Q1, and I'm smoking it out of my pipe that I like the least.
It's 1Q, right?
Lane 1Q. Did I say Q1?
Yeah, you said Q1.
Well, we're in Q1.
Yeah, dummy, pipe dummy.
The Lane 1Q, and I don't even have any of the information pulled up.
So Lane, yeah, I do. So Lane, because I care, Rob. Because Lane Limited, first of all, you'll notice when you start looking at bulks, it seems like there is nothing. We're going to have issues if you keep talking shit. Basically, like when it comes to bulk, there's a lot of people who do bulk, but two of the biggest ones are Lane and then Peter Stokeby. And it seems like Peter Stokeby does a lot of the non-aromatic stuff, where Lane Limited does a lot of the aromatic stuff. But from what I have read, could be wrong, Lane 1Q is apparently the best-selling bulk aromatic pipe tobacco in the world. Or so they say. I don't know.
It's distributed, I think, by Scandinavian Tobacco.
It is. It's distributed by Scandinavian. It's aromatic.
Yeah.
Contents are Cavendish and Virginia. Flavoring, which I think is pretty apparent, is vanilla. It's ribbon cut, and you can honestly get it about anywhere.
Yeah, I think everybody and their freaking mom has it. My lighter's dying here. So yeah, it's fine. I mean, to me, you get a little bit of vanilla. You get a little bit, almost not kind of a rum style flavor, not as strong as the stuff that you reviewed today, Logan, that Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of straightforward. If I was going to equate this to a cigar, I mean, I'd equate it to, like, I don't know, what was the first cigar that you smoked? I mean, like a 5 Vegas Golds or something?
Pretty much, yeah.
Or like
Romeo and Juliet or Reserva Real.
Yeah, or like
some shit like that.
Or like a Man of War type situation where it's basic. It's not going to blow you away. I can understand why it's best selling, because this honestly to me feels like the kind of tobacco that Grandpa is going to smoke. He'll buy a pound of it every month and just rage through it. And he's sitting there in his rocking chair, and it's not gonna let you down. You know what it is, but it's not gonna blow you away. I don't know if it's the kind of thing that people buy and combine with other stuff when you get all squirrely with trying to blend your own stuff. I mean, Catfish sent us a bunch of tobacco kind of right when we got back from Happy CPR. I mean, I've got 2 of them here. The Lane 1Q is one that I'm smoking that he sent. But there's one in here that's called Catfish Cinnamon and Walnut. So
one of those days we're going to fucking rip on that.
So he blended that himself. So, I mean, I don't know if Lane 1Q is one that people are going to buy and mix with other things. I have no idea. But I can understand why it's, in the same way that I can understand why the Oliva Milano was the #1 cigar in the world, where it's really approachable. It's approachable from a bunch of different aspects. I can see why a lot of people like it. It might not be my favorite, but I can understand why a lot of people like it. Your turn.
Yeah. Well, and I think Fast Jimmy just made a good point. It's like, think about it, right? Like, if you go out and you were to look at all the reviews on cigar websites and, like, certain websites, I guarantee, like, the Man of War has probably been reviewed a fucking 1,000 times. But if you go and look,
or something.
Like a Macanudo, yeah, exactly. Or, pictures of cigars. I mean, Macanudo's probably out there more than, I don't know, something Viaje leaded, right? Or maybe not, I don't know. But I feel like when it's like, oh, it's the Nothing made a good point, or excuse me, Fast Jimmy made a good point. It's like when it's reviewed 1,000 times more than anything else, it's just kind of the basic ground level stuff. And I think that's kind of what the Lane 1Q is. I mean, for me, big shocker here, I fucking hate it, and I really don't want to smoke another bowl of it, like, because it's just, and I don't know if it's me with aromatics that I'm finding, like, I'm going to have to, like, buck it up a little bit more and just start fucking with it. But it's like, it's just so fucking weird for me to smoke an aromatic and you smell it in the tin or in the bag or whatever, and it smells pretty good. But then, like, the second you light it, it's like it's the burley or whatever they use, the tobacco. I don't think it has much of a flavor. Do you?
I get a fair amount of flavor out of these. And the more that you retrohale, and it's weird, like, smoking a pipe, I have to remind myself to retrohale. When I'm smoking a cigar, I don't. So the way that I go about it, smoking it, is a little bit different. But when I retrohale it, I get a fair amount of flavor. It's not, and this one actually, and maybe it's just because the one that Catfish sent us, maybe it's a little bit old, and I've opened this a few times or whatever. Because if you leave one of those tins, like the Drew Estate tins, open for a while, the strength of smell goes away.
Right. Well, it's got out, right?
I mean, it loses that. I haven't noticed that the flavor changes all that much, but the strength of smell definitely goes away.
Right.
But for me, I mean, the smell in this Lane 1Q isn't as intense.
It's definitely not.
As like any of the
Seventh Avenue Blonde.
Yeah, any of that.
That shit's overpowering.
The smell on that I thought it was a really mild smoke. I've enjoyed aromatics, I think, more than you have. I like the sweetness of it. My wife will come sit with me, so my experience is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But they're starting to run their course for me. I can see why people jump from aromatics to the next level, or maybe skip them altogether, or smoke an aromatic and then never come back to their pipe, which is what I've done a couple of times. I mean, Logan, you know, I've mentioned
You
this in my
literally have
show.
been toying with pipes for like 3
For
years now.
years, like since we've met, like I've always
Pretty
wanted
much.
to smoke a pipe, and I've purchased them and then ended up trading them away, and like I really wish I still had that CAO pipe. That was freaking sweet. But it didn't taste right. It tasted kind of funky to me. So I can see why people miss it, and why they just kind of either they don't like it or they just move right on. And I can understand why you are. The one that was mentioned today on your review, and also let's talk about your review a little bit. I liked the tobacco that you reviewed. We herfed. I guess I don't know if it's still called a herf when you're smoking.
We
pipe.
herfed naked.
It was. I did not have pants on, but I was not naked.
I didn't have a shirt on.
We
kidding. I really
both
did.
herfed with that, and we smoked it. And that one for me had a lot more flavor than some of the other.
It did.
Some of the other, and the rum casing on that for me was very. It was very clear that we were smoking something that had a rum flavoring to it.
Like it was almost like a caramel rummy kind of. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely very distinct.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was good. Like, I mean, in my review, I mean, obviously I need to work on the rating system, but like most of these aromatics, and maybe it's just me, and I think I fucked up my review, and Rob corrected me, and rightfully so, is that that was the first aromatic, and I haven't smoked obviously every aromatic under the sun, but some of the Drew Estate stuff is that when you smoke it, I'm not getting much of the flavor, on the retrohale, the actual smoke, but I would be, and it was interesting because I was actually able to get some of the rum notes whenever I actually smoked it. So it was kind of interesting in that respect, but I don't know. It's just the other thing about aromatics for me is just like, I mean, obviously I smoke cigars fast, and I also smoke my pipe fucking fast. And if you smoke, you get that gurgle, especially with aromatics. At least I've noticed, and I don't know if it's because maybe it's just you got the extra moisture content because you've got a casing on. I don't really know, and I'm a dummy. I don't care. But, like, I feel like you really got to nurse an aromatic pipe because I'll fucking rail on a pipe of Frog Morton. I won't have a problem whatsoever.
Now, I think it is. I think, from what I understand, it is the casing that burns. That's why they burn hot. They burn hotter, so your bowl gets a little bit hotter. You get that moisture.
Ooh.
I think a lot of it has to do with, I mean, the way that you smoke it and how. I mean, if you smoke it right, I don't know what right is yet, but I mean, I've been smoking on this for a little bit now, and I haven't picked up that gurgle yet. But talking more, and I can see why. When we had the show last time, the guys from Drew Estate were talking about pipe smoking as more of a solitary thing, because it's kind of hard to talk and smoke and keep the, especially like when I feel like I need to take a puff of this right now, but you're lighting, so I can't. So I can see why it's more difficult to smoke pipes in a group of people, for sure.
Yeah. Now, nothing keeps copying all these quotes.
Well, I'm going to defer to him on a lot of this stuff because he's been smoking a pipe longer than we have. Although I will say, someone told me, who said up here, Fast Jimmy said I have to use matches. Well, I'm going to disagree with you, Fast Jimmy. I have to use a soft flame. I don't have to use matches. I'm using a soft flame, the Jeep, and this is actually it's butane in there, so it's not going to impact anything. Logan's using the same thing. I mean, as long as you're careful with the way you burn it around your bowl. The tip of your bowl, the flame never actually hits the sides of my bowl. It just hits the tobacco that's packed in the middle. So, if I had some nice matches out here, sure, I'd use them, but I don't. So there you go. Anything else, Logan, on aromatics?
I kind of moved away. The Lane 1Q was not my fave, but I am smoking the Lane Very Cherry. Have you ever smoked that?
Negative. I haven't smoked anything that's like fruit flavored.
Dude, I kind of like this.
Really?
It's okay.
Is it better than the heirloom cherry, the Drew Estate one?
I think so. I mean, I think this is just a little bit better. I mean, I can actually taste cherry though.
Yeah, the concept of a fruit flavored tobacco to me is a little bit different. I don't know if that's something I'd be all that interested in. But yeah, to get back to your review, I feel like you and I definitely see eye to eye on that one. It was good. To me, it had more flavor than some of the other aromatics. It's definitely got more flavor than this Lane 1Q does. It was a more pronounced flavor. None of these have much strength that I've felt in comparison to a cigar. But yeah, I think whatever our scoring system turns out to be, I think we would have scored that probably about the same. It's fine, and if I bought, I picked up that set lift sampler. I think you and I ended up with the same thing.
I wish my father-in-law didn't.
I don't mind it. I mean, it's maybe we'll go back to it, maybe not. I will definitely smoke that Charlemagne again. Whether I decide to go buy a bunch more of it is, I don't think that's going to happen. But I did enjoy it. But yeah, that would probably, if we did like a scale of 1 to 5, I mean, that one's going to be a 3 for me.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was fine. And if I felt like smoking an aromatic that had a little more flavor, I'd grab for it. Something that had a rum flavor to it, I'd grab for it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it again.
You know one thing I love about pipe tobacco is that I didn't buy this because Catfish did. But let's just say I bought an ounce of bulk of Lane 1Q. I smoke a bowl out of it. It's like $2, $3, whatever. And I don't like it. I'm out fucking $2.
Yeah.
So
and
it's not like
some space in your garbage can.
Well, exactly, and I think it's much easier too because this is kind of a pipe dummy show because we don't really know shit about pipes. We know, I guess, moderate stuff about cigars, but I just think from a standpoint of, okay, I bought a cigar. For me, I think it's much harder to part with a cigar, even if I don't like it, than a bowl of tobacco. Because I mean, honestly, yeah, I send out cigar chat winnings and stuff, but I don't send out a lot of bombs to people because I'll be like, fuck, I can't ship any more shit out. Like, I'll fucking break the credit card if I have to ship out another package. But I've already shipped out 2 packages of pipe tobacco for people, and they don't even know it's coming because it's just so easy to do. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to fucking bomb this guy. You can send like 15 pipe tobaccos for the price you can send like 2 cigars. It's ridiculous.
Hey, the funny thing is, like, whenever anybody sends you pipe tobacco, the second you open your mailbox.
Oh, fuck yeah, you do.
You've got some pipe tobacco. Now, I ordered the Middle Earth sampler.
Pipeweed.
The pipeweed, yeah, Middle Earth pipeweed sampler from just for him. And that's 5, I got 5 ounces of tobacco. It was 5 different blends in 1 ounce apiece. And I don't think any of those, I think one of them might be an aromatic, maybe 2, because they talk about it, there's a little bit of flavoring on them, but for the most part, I don't think they are. They're blends, but they're not aromatic blends. And man, that smelled up my whole room. I mean, I keep all my cigar stuff and pipe stuff in the guest room, and it's sealed. And it's like, bam! I can't even imagine when you opened up that box that had 40 ounces of pipe tobacco.
Dude, this is what
the room smelled like.
Like that was the size of it.
Oh, I believe it.
I mean, dude, it's ridiculous. I still stick my head in the box. I can still smell it.
But once you put everything in a jar, you can't really smell it anymore. Huh?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, and honestly, the jars are an investment. Because I mean,
the little one, it's cute.
I know, dude. I got the little one for the little nubs,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I was getting them off, and I went on, pipe tobacco or Reddit, basically pipe tobacco or whatever, and I was asking a few people, they said get them from Uline and, Target, or not Target, but like Dollar General and a bunch of places. The cheapest place I found to get mason jars was Target. For $50, I got, let me see, 1, 2, 4, what was that, 6 times 8? What's 6 times 8? 48?
Yeah.
Basically less than $1 a jar. So, and it was free shipping, so I got enough jars that, assuming I don't go on a fucking another bender with pipe tobacco, I should be okay.
Yeah, I might invest in some of those smaller ones just because I haven't invested in more than 1 ounce of anything. With that pipeweed sampler, I didn't really get they have a sampler and it's a 1/4 ounce of each blend, and I
A quarter an ounce, that shit, that's like nothing.
well, it's $10 for all 5 of them. So you get a quarter ounce. It's really like it's a sampler. I mean, a quarter ounce you're gonna smoke 2 or 3 bowls and that's it. I am a little bit obsessed with Lord of the Rings and movies and everything. I mean, I've ordered my Cobbett pipes too from Missouri Meerschaum, and those are on the way too, which I'm excited about.
They're good people.
Yeah,
You know, they're from Missouri.
I gave them a little bit of shit though because I ordered those, dude, on January 19th, and they just shipped today. And I was like, "What is this? A Sig Fed store?"
Ah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Just so you know.
It just came to me. It just came to me on the fly.
I was actually thinking it, and then...
and you're like, God, I hope he doesn't say it. I hope he doesn't say it.
I hope he doesn't fucking say it. But just so you know, set the record straight. Because the Sig Fed store does ship Monday through Friday.
Yeah, that's changed.
There is a person dedicated that ships all day.
Yeah, that's definitely definitely changed since the beginning. But I emailed them, and Marilyn is a sweetheart. She emailed me right back and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I guess I ordered the Wizard one, which is it's like 11 inches long, and it's gonna be like I'm holding it like this, smoking it from a mile away, but." They were really popular, I guess, in the stems. They ran out of stems, so they had to get more stems sent from Italy.
So they have to go grow some corn and
No, the stems are made of plastic.
Oh.
Just like any of these, it's plastic, and some of the stems are lucite or whatever. I don't know what the fuck the difference is, but yeah. So they actually shipped those out today too, so I should be getting that stuff pretty soon. So that'll be another show. You'll see me smoking out of my Cobbets. They've got 4 different sizes. The Wizard is the long one. And then the Elf and the Shire were kind of the same, with a little bit different shaped bowls. And then they had the Dwarf, which I didn't get because it was a small bowl, and I don't like fucking around with a small bowl, to be honest. So what else were we going to talk about? We talked about nothing for like 25 minutes.
That's what's the best part about pipes.
Is it?
I mean, because if it was Cigar Chat, it would be all these questions and fucking...
We do actually have questions.
I know, but fuck them.
Huh?
Well, we don't know the answers. We're not geniuses. We're dummies.
Well, no, but let's see.
Anything worthwhile?
Shooter wants to know... Here, I'll plug these in, so that way when you're watching it on YouTube, you can just click on the question. It'll hop right to this point. Shooter asks... can you describe the difference between pipes with and without filters? Are there benefits between the two? Are the filters replaceable? So we actually talked about this a lot on Cigar Federation today. And Mark, Mark I know does the site, and I can't remember what it is, but his name is Mark on Cigar Federation, was talking about how it seems like most of the pipes that have filters in them are cheaper, lower end. Maybe, I don't know if it's lower end, but they're definitely more affordable, let's say, in the $20 to $30 range. And the pipes the filters are made out of a few different things. Balsa wood. Some of the filters are made of balsa. Some of them are just like little cotton pieces, not cotton, but it looks that way. And then I guess Jared was saying that there's also these. It's a filtered charcoal that you can use, that you put in the chamber, that I imagine comes in like a little pod. Yes, they are replaceable, and I think it's just the idea is it sucks up that extra moisture. Now I know, Logan, you've got one that has a.
In the Savinelli that my CIA father-in-law got me, you can see that little hole, and you don't have to use it, but it came with these little balsa wood, almost like triangles, and you shove it down there. When I cleaned my pipe a little bit ago, I mean, it definitely sucks up a lot of moisture, but it fucking reeks.
Oh, when you take it out?
Well, when I take it out, it reeks. It actually made the pipe taste worse. It was almost like a burnt wood, kind of. So maybe that's just because I was over here huffing and puffing.
How many times have you smoked out of that pipe?
I just fucking broke it in with... What the hell was it? Oh, this is part of the experiment, considering this is my Virginia pipe. McClellan 5100 Red Cake. Because according to the Pipeman's Handbook, is that shit ages really well, so they say.
So you only smoked one bowl out of that, and you had to change the filter?
I just did, because when I cleaned it, it smelled so horrible.
So that's actually an interesting question, and we'll do some research on it because I don't know. How often do you have to change the filters? Probably, I would think, fairly often. You know,
They said in the box with the Savinelli, it's like, I think they said change it every 3 to 4 smokes, but honestly, it's like, for me, it was so rank that I was like, man, I don't want to leave this in my pipe anymore.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see. Of the pipes that I've got, none of them have filters. Is there a benefit to it? I think it sucks
I'm
up.
sure.
It probably keeps you from getting that gurgle.
That gurgle,
Which
bitches.
I'm still not getting here. I feel like the more that I tamp, and I mean, if you're tamping constantly throughout, which is what you're supposed to do, and I'm not huffing and puffing. I mean, I'm definitely not raging on this thing at all, but I'm not getting the gurgle. But yeah, the filters are replaceable. So yeah, I'm curious to do a little research and see what the general consensus is of how often you have to change those. Let's see. So this is from Jay Zarata. I don't know if we can answer this question, but we'll give it a shot. It says Lane makes Captain Black as well. Please describe the difference between buying the Q1 and a pouch of Captain Black at your drugstore. I've never had
No fucking idea.
I haven't had the Captain Black. I think the difference is it's just a different blend. I mean, it's an aromatic pipe tobacco. I don't know that the tobacco used in the 1Q is better or worse than the tobacco used in the Captain Black. I know we're gonna definitely visit some Captain Black at some point, just because there's a ton of it. And it's like you said, you can just go down to your drugstore and get it. It's the kind of thing that people are used to seeing around. I mean, I don't personally know. Logan, have you smoked the Captain Black at all?
I don't, but I got an ounce of every single flavor they make. We'll smoke it one of these days. But, you know, I want to do things a little bit differently because I feel like everyone who gets into cigar, first of all, aromatics suck dick.
Well, I'm curious, though. One thing I did want to comment, we talked about your review. Kip, your boy Kip from, what's the show that Kip does? Or the Cigar Me is his website, not his show. Cornell and Dial, he says makes some decent aromatics, notably the Autumn Evening. This is just about the only aromatic that I have any desire to smoke. And when I looked it up on a couple of different websites, Pipes and Cigars, I looked it up to see if they had it, and it says that for once this is an aromatic that tastes like it smells. And that intrigues me a little bit. So I'm curious to see how good that is. And I'm going to place an order. I'm actually going to get 2 ounces of that because I feel like I'm going to like it as Logan blows his nose in the background without hitting his mute button.
You're welcome. And will you send me an ounce? Because I'm sending you. Everyone, I just want to show you how fucking cool I am. And I can toot my own horn.
Might as well. But I'll preface this by saying that I didn't ask him to do this. I'm very appreciative.
That makes it so much better because it's straight from the heart.
Is this going to turn into an 80s song?
It fucking very well could. But, you know, as much as Rob and I, you know, butt heads and everything, I love him.
Well, we had a heater going earlier today, though.
We did. We did have a very spirited conversation.
It was a heater going for a few days, actually.
Well, here's the problem: is when you and I don't communicate like over Skype or on the phone, we always get really pissed at each other because we take everything out of context. And now looking back, what was said wasn't really that big of a deal. There was one issue that was a sticking point, but everything else was just, you know, kind of translation. But because I love Rob so much, I'm sending him that in the mail.
That's a Peterson Holiday Blend 2014, which I meant to pick up over the holidays. I think it came out in November, and I saw it, and I kept meaning to buy it, and by the time I went to buy it, it was sold out everywhere. I don't think you can find it.
I don't
anywhere.
think you can.
The
Secret Store might have 210s, maybe,
potentially.
Maybe.
That was one thing that Logan and I have talked about. One of the differences between the two different industries is there's not a lot of limited edition pipe tobacco, at least what we've seen.
Not at all. I mean, other than the Peterson Summertime Holiday Blend and then the other one.
Yeah.
But other than that, you don't really see much.
I saw one that was I think it was a McClelland or whatever that one is. They did a Holiday Blend. And actually, here, talk about something. I'm going to pull a couple of these up while you're talking.
Well, everyone, just so you know, I hook Rob. No, I don't want to talk about Rob anymore.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I hate to say this, but what I was gonna say is that getting into cigars, I think Rob and I, like every cigar smoker, I mean, you start with your fucking Macanudos, you start with honestly bullshit that I would never smoke now, and you kind of work your way up to boutiques and other shit, limited editions, and then you find yourself like me, you're like fucking chasing all these new releases and shit. But pipe tobacco is not really like that. I mean, at least from what I can tell, yeah, you've got a limited release here, but it's not like every manufacturer comes out with a limited edition every year, or every manufacturer comes out with a new run every year. Like, I mean, it seems pretty standard, right? Like, I mean, and I think it's kind of refreshing. It's not a fucking rat race.
Yeah, to kind of just go back on what I was talking about, and most of the time when we're talking about we found pipe tobacco online, we're talking about pipesandscigars.com just because they're like Cigars International. They have everything. If you type in
for real,
if you search holiday, and I'm just thinking holiday, I should search limited edition, but I didn't. McKellen has a 2014 Holiday Spirit limited edition.
Okay.
Dan Tobacco has Devil's Holiday, which that sounds aggressive. But that looks like that's kind of like a Halloween type thing. There is the Peterson Holiday Blend, which is sold out. There's McKellen Christmas Cheer 2014, which looks like it's a flake. There's Cornell and Dial. They have We Three Kings, which is like a Christmas blend. But beyond that, and the Savinelli St. Nicholas 2014 pipes are sweet. But yeah, I mean, it's not like there's these limited editions where we've only got 1,000 ounces and it's only available here. It's very, the feel of the industry feels very different to me.
I would agree.
There's also a 4th generation 210 holiday sampler, whatever the hell that is. So there you go.
For those people who care.
I don't think anyone does, but I just thought that was interesting because now I'm pulling it up and there are quite a few.
Now we just...
No, there aren't. I mean, when I search limited editions, I've got that McKellen 2014 again. There's a W.O. Larson limited edition 2014, Peterson limited edition, Samuel Galwith.
Gaywith, or however you say it.
Gaywith limited edition, which is expensive. Wow.
How much is it?
3.5 ounces. It's $30.
God damn.
But then they've got the special edition 2013 as well, and that's it. Not a lot of limited edition stuff that I'm seeing. So I don't know. I don't know what any of that means. Just another difference between the two industries, I guess. Let's see. Let me go through some of these questions here. I'm gonna just read this one out loud before I really know what it's even about. This one is from. Well, this might be more of a comment on the filters here. This one's from Steve Christopher. Thanks for the comment, Steve. He says, I smoke Dr. Grabo. Grabo?
It's a kind of pipe, isn't it?
Yeah. He says they use rolled paper 7mm filters. I usually change the filters daily with a good cleaning with pipe cleaners. The cotton pipe cleaners work best. I smoke a pipe fairly heavily during the day and save the more costly cigars for the evening. So that's more of a comment on the use of filters and how often we need to clean them. So thank you for that. I do like this little feature, though, where people can chime in and contribute to the show. Here's another one. This one's from Harley Holmes, who I had the pleasure of hanging out with. Steve, this past weekend, he came out with his brother to the
Got to meet old Harley Holmes?
Yeah, I came to the beer festival, Winter Beer Fest in Concord. We had a pretty good time. There was a lot of beer there. The guys that I was with, Aaron from Blind Man's Puff, and June, who also writes for Blind Man's Puff, and they were very excited about these sours. And I don't like sours. And I tried to like them. And they said, it's the kind of thing that you need to get used to before you like it. Like, you know what? There's plenty of stuff out there that I don't need to get used to like. So
I like some sour beers. I mean, they do it at the brewery down here at Jester King. They do it with like wild yeast. I don't really understand how they do it, but I mean, it's different. It's definitely
it's sour as shit, man. But anyway, he says, do you think Lane 1Q would be a good for a newbie pipe tobacco smoker? I think absolutely. I mean, it seems like it's probably most people's first thing. I mean, they grab this, you grab like Captain Black. Those are the first things that you're going to get. I think that just about any aromatic is good for a new pipe smoker because that's what I am, and I'm smoking through some of them. Some I like, some I don't. Logan has graduated past.
I just skipped that whole fucking level.
Yeah, but it's all due to personal preference. I mean, you can. Yeah. That doesn't mean that they're bad tobaccos, or I mean, somebody made a comment that lesser tobacco is used for aromatics, and to me that makes sense because they're going to have a flavoring on there. You're gonna.
Well, Burley's the only pipe tobacco that actually accepts a casing, right? That's why I think Drew Estate mentioned that, right? So that's why they use Burley. It's because it accepts a flavoring really, really well. It's kind of like with cigars. If you're going to process, heaven forbid, you're going to process cigar and add flavoring to it or whatever. It's not that they use a different type of tobacco, but they usually will do it dry, and then they'll rehydrate it because then the leaves will suck it up. And apparently Burley, I don't know. That's what I heard. I could be wrong.
No, that makes sense because it seems like Burley is in just about every aromatic. If you're out there watching Isaac Miller, because you're commenting on a lot of different stuff and you tend to know.
He thinks he knows.
Let us know if you guys or anybody who's watching. Let us know. So yeah, I think that Lane 1Q is a good place to start. I mean, it's the best selling in the world for a reason, right?
I would say so. I mean, what is it, like $2 an ounce or some shit?
Yeah, something like that. And most stuff that you're going to find is about that price. I'm cheating here a little bit, and I'm going to tell you guys what I'm doing. I'm using a pipe cleaner while I'm smoking. And
I do that too. I actually find myself doing that too.
If I get a little gurgle, put the pipe cleaner down there, and it takes care of it. I don't know if that's kosher or if that's the kind of thing that you're supposed to do. That was actually something that Victor Vitale told me. I was chatting with him a couple weeks ago. We may actually have him on the show because he used to sell pipes. Excuse me, he used to sell pipes for like 15 years, he said. So we may have him come on.
How old is that motherfucker?
I don't know. I mean, he's got to be.
He doesn't look that old.
He doesn't. No, he looks like he's, my age. But,
that's true. He don't look my age because I look fucking good. Don't answer that.
I bet a lot of people would guess that you're older than me.
It's probably true. But you know what? As my wife so eloquently put it today, she's like, Logan, I'm worried about you. You smoke too much. You don't eat healthy. You don't exercise. And you're always stressed out.
It's the Chris Farley method.
I'm worried about you. Now, most people would get pissed about that, but no, I don't. Because you know what? You know why I do it, honey? I'm trying to put food on the table for the kids.
Anyway, before we start talking about your physical wellness and personal hygiene, another question from Isaac Miller, the Nothing, as he's known. He says, are there any other arrows that you guys might suggest, and how does Lane 1Q compare? Of the stuff, I've smoked a very limited amount of pipe tobaccos. Everything that I have smoked has been aromatic. What Lane 1Q kind of falls in the middle of the spectrum for me. My favorite tobacco that I've smoked so far is the Central Park Stroll from
That's pretty good.
From Drew Estate, and I've also on Pipes and Tobaccos, or Pipes and Cigars. They have their guy Russ who does different blending for them, and I picked up 1 ounce of the Ice Cream Sundae blend, and it actually tastes very similar to the Central Park Stroll. But if you want to get weird, get one of those Suge pipes, Central Park Stroll, and then put the cherry heirloom in the base, and it really does. I mean, I'm telling you, it tastes like a sundae with the cherry on top. It really is enjoyable. Of the other, I think I've smoked all the Drew Estate ones. And Logan, if you have them handy,
I think I have too, actually.
Read the names off to me because I know that there's Central Park Stroll, which I liked. There was Grand Central, which I thought was okay.
There's like
Uh,
apple, I think it's that
there's
one.
the Harvest on the
Seventh
Hudson.
Avenue Blonde.
The Harvest on the Hudson is the apple one.
Right. There's Seventh Avenue Blonde,
Seventh Avenue Blonde
vanilla. Then
is the
there's
vanilla.
there's
Meat
two
pie
non-aromatics, which is the meat pie and
and the flake.
Gatsby Luxury Flake.
I feel like we're missing one. Oh, a toasted black Cavendish,
Cavendish, yep.
which I also like. I also like that one too. The toasted black Cavendish and the Central Park Stroll were the ones that stood out for me. The others I've only smoked once or twice. The Seventh Avenue Blonde I felt was really, really mild. I didn't get a lot of flavor out of that one. I remember enjoying Grand Central, but I've only smoked it a couple of times. So how does it compare? I mean, Lane 1Q to me seems very, very basic. It's got nice flavors. There's a little bit of, like I said, a little bit of that vanilla in there. Maybe like a rum or brandy type flavor in the background, but not a whole lot going on. The others, I feel like they have a little bit more depth of flavor to them. So, take that for what it's worth. I do also get kind of a high floral type note from this Lane 1Q when I retrohale. But, I mean, I don't know what that even really means. Logan, any that you would recommend, even though I know you're not a big fan?
Aromatics. I did smoke a bowl of that Peterson Holiday Blend 2014, and it wasn't absolutely atrocious. I don't know, man. I don't dig aromatics, man. I don't dig aromatics in my cigars. I don't dig aromatics. But I'll tell you what I am smoking right now that's kind of the titty tit balls is this Peter Stokeby Luxury Bullseye Flake.
Now, you switched pipes, right?
I did. I switched my I incorrectly said it was a Peterson. It's actually a Savinelli. Dude, that's cool as shit. Look at this. It's kind of cool. First of all, it's bulk, so it's like cheap as shit. And it comes in little flakes, little circles.
So how do you pack that in the bowl? You just kind of stick your finger in there and push it
I guess
down?
you could. What I did is I kind of chopped it all up and shredded it, just like you'd get down, and then I just packed her down and went to town.
So I'm curious, and I don't think this is a question that either you or I can answer. What's the benefit or what's the difference of, I mean, having it, like some stuff comes in flakes, some stuff comes in cake, comes in those little round things like you said. Did I lock up?
No, you're here. I'm just listening.
And there was that other one that we saw that was actually cut in like little cubes. I mean, what's the difference there? Is it better? Is it worse? I mean, what's the benefit of leaving it in a flake?
Well,
is it just easier because you don't have to put it through a machine to cut it, or what?
Well, I mean, the only thing I know that I can answer is that
these are more rhetorical questions from just.
I mean, well, back in the day, the whole reason flake came around was because sailors, they pressed that shit into a flake and put like sugar water on it or salt or something because it was easier and it kept, because you don't want your pipe tobacco completely dried out, right? Because it's just going to be torched. So I think they pressed it and stuff, and that's where the flake came from. So I've noticed, at least this is just me, is some of the flake that Catfish sent me that was in bags still seems to have more moisture content than some of the other stuff that maybe dried out a little bit.
Huh.
But other than that, I don't really know. Like, I've never tried to like actually stuff a pipe with the flake. I usually just shred it up. And
well, no, of course you're going to break it up, and I think you're supposed to. But I'm just curious, as far as just from a manufacturing standpoint, what's the benefit to doing that? Is it just cool because it's a little bit different, or like you said, it holds a little bit more moisture that way? I don't know.
I mean, I think it does. And plus, this Bullseye Flake, I got an ounce of it, and you could see in the jar, there's not really shit. So you're getting, like, it's very, very, very compressed. And honestly, I'm probably smoking this wrong. I'm trying to keep this thing going. Like, it barely filled up my pipe. So it's probably a little damp. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to properly smoke a flake.
Well, these are we're taking notes for future shows, I guess.
Yeah, we're just making up here.
No, I mean at some point we'll get into that. That's like we're still in kindergarten. That's like 7th or 8th grade before we start talking about that stuff. But so another thing that we said we were going to talk about, and this comes up as a question from Isaac Miller. We're going to talk about the Pipeman's Handbook that Logan has fallen in love with, and it's like the only book he's ever read for pleasure.
Pretty much.
It's
I
Isaac,
more like to watch the movies,
yeah, Isaac's question is, do you think there might be too much info in the Pipeman's Handbook? I think that I've downloaded the Pipeman's Handbook. I've looked through it. One thing that I've tried to download it on my Kindle, and I kind of have to download the PDF every time I want to read it because it says it saves to documents, and I can't find where the hell documents are. So maybe it's just me being an idiot, but
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think that there's too much information. It's like, is there too much information in Wikipedia? Is there too much information on the internet? Yeah, probably. But you just have to figure out how you want to sift through it. It goes everywhere from, it tells you, all the different parts of the pipe, what they're called, what their purpose is. You see cross sections of different styles of pipes. They even break down the Peterson system of, how they drill the pipes. That talks about all the different kinds of pipe tobacco, different quotes from different blurbs from different websites and everything. And I think this was put together a good 10 years ago.
At least.
I don't think there's too much information in there. It's 180 pages or something like that.
Very close to that, yeah.
But you can sift through it pretty easily. If you want to read about aromatics, you jump to the part that's about aromatics. You just kind of flip through it until you find it. I'm old school, so I'm probably going to have my wife print one out while she's at work, use their printer ink and not mine. And maybe put it in, have it bound some way so I have some kind of hard copy so I can make notes on it and things like that. I don't think there's too much information in there. I think it could be daunting if you look at it for the first time, but if Logan can glean some info out of it, then I guess just about anybody can, right?
Well, first of all, Pipeman's Handbook doesn't really give you the answers. What it does is it gives you about 17 different opinions, and then you've got to go form your opinion from it. So, for example, one of the sections is, should you leave it in tins, or should you put it in baggies, or what? And the Nothing Reddit, there's opinions from certain people saying leave it in tins, and then some saying leaving it in jars. Another thing says, hey, if you leave it in jars, should you just seal it up, or should you actually physically can it like you do, if you were canning some jams or jellies and suck all the oxygen? Some argue oh, should you put wax around the tip, just to see how it feels for just a second, to seal it all in. So it'll present 17 different ways to do it, and it doesn't really tell you the right or the wrong one, but it gives you a really good idea of what are all the countervailing opinions out there, and you just got to go form your own.
So we had a comment here from Mark in the chat room. He says that pipe tobacco is compressed for aging purposes. So it almost sounds like you kind of hit a little bit of the nail on the head when you talked about it. It holds in a little bit more moisture. If you're going to age something, you want it to hold maybe a little bit more moisture. So that does make some sense. But I'll be curious. We'll do a little bit more research and see if we can come up with some answers to that. But yeah, for me, the Pipeman's Handbook, it's just a nice resource. It's like you said, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's not definitive. You need to do this and not this, and here's why. It's a collection of a bunch of different opinions, which, as we all know from cigars, there really isn't a right and wrong. Well, there's a wrong way, but there isn't just one particular right way to do everything. So
no.
Yeah, it can kind of give you an idea of just some different opinions. That's the way that I took it, and it's packed with a ton of stuff that I don't know. So, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing to make you think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the tip, just to see how it feels, for just a second. What's wrong, hey?
What I need to get is some of those little chewy tips.
I know, those seem pretty good. Do you find yourself holding a pipe like this?
Hold on, go back. I find myself holding it this way. So I don't know if you can see me.
I'm either like this, it's fuck me.
Oh, up against your head?
Yeah, fuck me, man.
No,
I'm resting it, you're resting your head against it. I don't know why.
No, I've never done that.
Fucking all the cool kids.
I think I'm just about out. I'm all the way down to the bottom there. I've been smoking it for about an hour. That's the longest I've smoked a bowl, I think. Without, I didn't get the gurgle.
The gurgles.
So having the pipe cleaners. One thing. So what have we? I'll close on a question because we've got about 5 minutes left. What have we learned since we did our show with Drew Estate, that was about 2 weeks ago? From a pipe standpoint, well, what have I learned? And Logan, I'll give you some time to think about it because I didn't really load this question up.
That's a good way to start the show, end the show, Rob. I like that.
Yeah, maybe this will be a thing. I've learned that I'm probably going to end up with a shit ton of pipes. I think that's just kind of par for the course for me. I'm a collector at heart. I always have been. I blame 1987 Topps baseball cards for that. And I'll probably end up and Logan, you called this when we talked about pipes.
I told you, dude.
We're talking about the show. You said I'm going to end up. Oh, this is Logan talking. I'm going to end up with a ton of tobacco, and you're going to end up with a ton of pipes, and that's exactly true. I'll probably have, maybe 20 tins of tobacco, but I'll have 150 pipes.
It's true.
And
I'm like completely the opposite.
Yeah, and I think I've learned that. I thought that I was really in love with aromatics, and I'm kind of getting off of it a little bit. Although I do want to try the one that Kip mentioned, the Cornell and Dial Autumn Evening. I'm going to buy a few ounces of that because if I really can find an aromatic that tastes the way it smells, then I'll rage on that and I'll smoke it all the time because I do enjoy the sweetness of it. I'm going to need places to store my pipes. I'm going to need, when I bought pipe cleaners in, packs of 32, that's not enough.
Oh, fuck. You cannot have enough pipe cleaners.
Buy them in packs of hundreds and hundreds. And there you go. You got a nice little stand going and everything.
It was a gift from a friend.
Nice. I've got that stand that my dad made, and it's he made it in the 50s, but the holes that are drilled for the pipes to go through aren't big enough for these fishtail tips that I've got, and I seem to have that on every single one, so I need to go in with the drill and make them a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think learning to pack a bowl, I feel like I'm getting better at it. Yeah. I think tamping is one thing that I've kind of taken for granted, but now that I've got my sweet tamper that I found that was my great uncle.
Pretty kick ass.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about this. This was in some stuff that I found at my folks' house. This belonged to my great uncle, and he was using that in the 40s and 50s. Sterling silver. It was when I first pulled it out. It was like this dark, dank green color, and it's kind of hard because it's reflecting. My wife, God bless her, spent about 20 minutes cleaning it, and now it's actually pretty cool. But tamping a lot. I used to be kind of afraid to tamp. I feel like I could only tamp if it goes out or whatever. You can tamp whatever the fuck you want, and the more that you tamp, the better. That's what I've noticed, and this whole having a pipe cleaner there with me to jam in there when I get a little bit of the gurgle going is a good idea. And I'm getting kind of excited to. I know in our upcoming shows, I don't know which one we're doing next. Are we doing English next?
Next one's all about aromatics, which.
Well, maybe we'll change that because we kind of
move on.
That was kind of today's show, unless we want to talk about a specific one like Captain Black, which people asked about. So maybe that makes sense to make it a Captain Black.
You're going to force me to smoke a bunch of Captain Black.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But I'm interested in trying some English stuff and some Virginias. I don't know. Which are stronger, the English or the Virginias?
I don't really know.
I think, right?
I think so. I mean, yeah. I mean, the Perique definitely carries a higher nicotine content, at least I think. And then I think however you say it, Laquita, or however you say it, I think it carries a higher nicotine content as well. So,
yeah, I'm curious to try some of the other stuff out because I haven't done it yet, and I'm kind of waiting for those Cobbets to arrive because my plan is I've got 3 different ones, so maybe I'll use those as my 3 different like an aromatic, an English, and a Virginia out of those 3, and just use those during the show. Although we also talked about with those Sugays that we were lucky enough to get our hands on, we could get replacement bowls for those too. So
I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm going to do that too, but I mean maybe for the show I'll stick with the Cobbets. I don't know, but I'm kind of waiting for those before I start smoking some of the other stuff. So by the time we come around to our next show, which isn't for another 3 weeks, right?
No, we have one next week.
We're doing pipes again next week?
Yeah, we're doing it next week because I'm going in here, remember?
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm a week ahead of myself.
And we don't do one for like 3 weeks.
Okay, I was a week ahead of myself. Okay, so next week we're doing pipes again. So yeah, maybe next week I'll definitely have a Cobbett, and I'll be smoking something English or something. Since it's British, you know, it's a lovely pot.
No, British holding my finger out, drinking my tea like Logan's doing out of his mug of
that is
awesomeness.
That's a massive love. So
Dude,
that's kind of what I've learned, and doing these shows and talking much more than we did last week. It's definitely smoking a pipe is definitely something it's not easy to do in a group. If you're talking one-on-one, it's almost impossible, I would imagine, to keep it going. But that's just a few of the things that I've learned. What about you, Logan?
You talked for like 5 minutes. I mean, Family Guy. Basically, yeah, you can never have enough pipe cleaners. I mean, honestly, I've learned that aromatics are kind of like not really my thing. And honestly, they don't give you any sort of strength whatsoever. I think they're all just extremely mild.
So for you, they're like Connecticut wrapped.
It's like a fucking Connecticut, basically, for me. And the other thing I struggle with is getting flavors out of pipe tobacco in general. I mean, it might be that I have an upper respiratory infection. I'm still smoking, that's because I'm a hard ass. But, like, I don't know. I mean, it's not like, that's one thing I've noticed about just pipe tobacco in general. It's like, it's enjoyable and everything. Like today, I actually haven't even smoked a cigar today. Believe it or not, I have not even smoked a cigar today. You know, other than I smoked a couple bowls when I was working from home today, and then I smoked one of the Lane Q before we got on the show, and then a cherry one, which I kind of threw out because it kind of got gross, and then this flake. But, I mean, I just like it because I can quickly, and I'm very much a let me try kind of everything, immerse myself into the hobby kind of deal. And even in this show, we've been here for an hour, I might only be able to smoke one cigar, even if I'm chiefing during a cigar chat. But during this, I smoked 3 different pipe tobaccos.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, it's definitely the money that you're spending is on your pipes and not necessarily on your tobacco. And as Logan pointed out, with those mason jars, the storage doesn't really cost, like, you're not paying for a humidor.
That's true.
So, I mean, and one thing that's been a hot topic on Hot Topic, is that store still around?
I thought it was Hawaiian Tropic.
Oh, there was Hot Topic was a store that I had in the mall where they would always have, like, Beavis and Butthead T-shirts and edgy stuff like that, even though it was edgy back in the day. Anyway, off topic. Where to buy reasonably priced pipes. And we've looked at a bunch of different things. Logan, you got the 3 Briars for $50 or whatever it was on pipes and cigars. And I mean, maybe you can talk a little bit about the quality of those, but
they're okay.
I mean, for me, I picked up those 3 Cobbetts from Meerschaum, Missouri Meerschaum, and they were like, it was like $50 for all 3 of them, and those are on the expensive side for theirs. I mean, they were like $18, $19 a piece when most of their cobs are like 8 to 10. So, I mean, if you're really just starting out and you're not sure that you're going to like it and you're not ready to commit to doing a show for a full year and all this and that, then, you know, go for like a $5 corn cob. I mean, it's not going to hurt.
Dude, I'll tell you, they call this the Mizzou that Rob gifted me. I don't know how much it is, like $5-10 tops. And dude, it actually, I've smoked some aromatics out of it. It's actually a pretty enjoyable pipe.
Yeah,
$10. It doesn't look bad either.
Yeah, they'll do. If you go to their site, it's corncobpipes.com. They'll have, and I'd like to say that they're paying us for this, but they're not.
They should be.
They've got some. I'll send them a link to the show. They've got some that have like a nicer finish on them. You know, they're not just a cut piece of corn. I mean, some of them have a nicer finish. They actually had one that was like $30. It was like a cob freehand that looked actually really cool because it was bigger. But you know, for me, for the most part, you can grab one of those, a few of those, and not have to spend a ton of money. I've been looking on eBay I really want one of the Peterson Dracula pipes. I've realized that, I mean, the bowl on most pipes are about the same. I mean, sometimes
6 millimeter or 9 millimeter, pretty much.
Well, that's in the stem, isn't it?
I thought that was the bowl size.
Well, the bowl size that's bigger than 6 millimeters.
I think it's around.
Anyway, the bowls are all kind of the same, unless you're talking about some like Nording freehand that looks really cool or whatever. For me, it's having the different stems, and some of the stems are really, really cool. Like the Dracula one it's a red stem with like this black color that's kind of mixed in, and they're all different. That kind of turns me on a little bit. So I've been looking on eBay trying to find a deal. There's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of fakes out there too, but estate pipes are always interesting, depending on where you get them from. But anyway, I'm rambling now. So next week we were supposed to talk about aromatics. So that may change, Logan. We'll see.
Just so you know, you can go renumber all those episodes, you fuck.
No, we just changed the title. We don't need to change the number or anything. We're not going to talk.
Yeah, but it says episode 3.
It'll still be episode 3.
Oh, that's true.
It'll still be episode 3. Just the topic is different. We're not going to talk about aromatics. Maybe we'll talk. Like I said, we could talk about Captain Black. I don't have any. I would assume there were some in that big chunk that you were going to send me. I don't know when that's going out.
Probably Saturday.
So yeah, I would probably have them in time to do a show on Wednesday and talk about them, but I would only be able to smoke one. Or we could talk about. You know what? You should order some of the Hobbit stuff, and let's make next week a Hobbit episode.
No, dog.
Yeah, talk about.
Dude, I gotta slow my roll. I've got so much other shit I gotta put into jars tonight.
15. It's gonna cost you $16 for an ounce of each.
I thought it was like a quarter ounce or some shit.
No, they're $3.25 for an ounce. So if you get all 5 of them, you're looking at like about $6.50 plus shipping. And they got them out to me in like a day and a half.
Who was this?
Just for him.
And it was called the fucking Squirrely Bitch Sampler?
No, you go to justforhim.com.
I know, it's in Springfield, Missouri.
But it wasn't easy to find. Jared had to tell me how to find it. So you click on bulk tobaccos.
Okay.
And then from bulk tobaccos, you click on custom bulk tobacco blends.
Okay.
And then Middle Earth series is the first one.
Okay.
So there's Long Bottom Leaf, Old Toby, Ruins of Isengard, Shortcut to Mushrooms, and Treebeard. Ruins of Isengard and Shortcut to Mushrooms are the ones that Jared won't shut up about. So those.
Yeah, he also won't shut up about the trill either. So I take his opinion with a fucking grain of salt.
He likes the soapbox. Have you ever smoked the soapbox? I haven't smoked that one.
That's not bad. It's not a bad cigar.
Anyway, so maybe we'll do that if I can talk Logan into ordering some of it, like right now. You can get the sampler for $10, where you just get a quarter ounce of each, and it's not a big commitment. But I would like to try to smoke a few of those before next week's show and talk about the differences. That'd be fun.
Yeah, well. Oh, fuck.
See? I talked him into it.
It's for science.
It is for science. It's for science. That's awesome.
So which one do I get? The long bottom leaf?
Well, that's just one.
The Middle Earth sampler pack.
You get a quarter ounce of each. I went through and I bought an ounce of each one. Just because, I mean, Lord of the Rings is a thing for me. But if you don't really care about it, you just want to get the sampler and maybe buy some more later, just get the sampler.
Or you could just, like, I'm sending you a bunch of shit, you could just send me a little bit.
I could do that.
That's a novel idea, you know.
I could do that. That would be weird. I could do that.
I know,
Actually,
let's buy it. Fuck.
No, I could do it. I've got an ounce.
They charge shipping on this bullshit?
Yeah, everybody charges shipping.
No, fuck, they don't.
I'll send you some.
No, fuck, I'll buy it. How much they charge for shipping?
I don't know.
You bought it, son.
Let me look at what my order was. I bought it.
How much is the goddamn Middle Earth? The trill. What are you talking about, Willis? Jared, what I'm talking about is you smoking out by your piece of shit car when you're fixing it, fucking cooking hamburgers, smoking the goddamn fucking trill.
What are you even talking about right now?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Saying, ooh, spicy Dominican flavors. No, that cigar is shit. It's fucking horrible.
That's too funny.
I can't believe you like it. It's horrible.
Who are you even talking to?
I'm talking to Jared Garrott.
Oh, okay. I can't seem to find the...
Shooter says it's $6.
Oh, $6?
I mean, I trust Shooter.
Yeah, well, I'll just send it to you then.
Okay, fine.
I'll just put some in an envelope and send them.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, okay. And then I don't have anything else that you don't have that I could put in there, so...
No.
I'm not going to send you any cigars in there either because it'll get all jacked up.
You don't have to. I'm full up on cigars, homie.
All right, cool. So hopefully we'll talk about some of the Middle Earth shit next week, and I'll bust out some Cobbets. I'm excited for that. That's going to be fun.
I know.
Hopefully my Cobbets get here soon. That'll make for a good weekend. Although, when I ordered them from the Missouri Meerschaum people, they're using like first-class shipping, so it could take a month and a half to get here. I have no idea. Anyway.
Jared's like, that's like 4 months ago, but dude, you Instagrammed the shit out of the trill, bro. You fucking were all up dick deep in that trill, man.
Balls deep.
You're just balls deep in Trill's ass.
He wouldn't shut up about the soapbox too for a while.
Well, soapbox is actually a halfway decent cigar.
The trill I have not smoked.
Yeah, well, there's a reason.
You know, the only from we're getting off topic. The only stuff from that Villiger that I smoked was the Tobajara, and I actually thought that was a decent cigar. That Brazilian Puro.
You know how much I smoked from them?
Brazilian Puro. Zilch, Nathan, Nada.
You want to know why? You know how many fucking Villiger samplers I've got in the cigar chat humidor of death? Where cigars go to die?
Well, there's that one blend that you can only get in that sampler.
For real?
Yeah, the one that's
What
just
is that?
a ribbon around it.
What was that, Trill Junior?
No, I don't know. It's not called anything. It's just it's a mystery cigar. Like they don't have a name for it. Nobody will tell me what the blend is or anything.
The Trill's got fucking sinus searing red pepper on the retro. Bro. No.
Has limited flavor on the palate and sinus searing retro. So yeah, I would imagine like that doesn't sound like a positive endorsement. Are you making this up, Logan?
No, I'm just reading the fucking shit that he's
No,
writing.
are you making up that he liked it?
No, he did, man. Do I have to go back to his busted ass car? Like fucking cooking hamburgers on the damn engine? Like, I mean, it was like that. And he's like, oh man, fucking Trill, bro. I'm just like, all right, dude, whatever you want. Because remember when he won that box of Trills, he was like, we said he's gonna fucking freak out.
Oh, he did. He won a box. That's right.
He
Okay.
did. Because we're like, oh man, he's gonna love this shit because it's all like Dominican and stuff.
And it was no good, huh?
Anyways.
All right. Anyway, okay. So we're wasting time at this point, and my wife's texting me. So okay. So we'll bounce, but next week hopefully we'll talk about some Hobbit stuff. If not, we'll talk about whatever. All right. Cool. Thanks for tuning in. Find us on cigarfederation.com. We're back next week with another episode of Pipe Dummies. So go get your pipes and smoke with us next time.
Fucking Trill.